Well, hello, everybody. Happy Monday, and welcome back to HCA's Pop Council. This is a show where we talk about the latest in pop culture, movies, TV, and so much more. And joining me, as always, every Monday, it is Jami Philbrick.
Woo! Hey, Wendy, how you doing?
Hello. It's good. It was a nice weekend. I feel like this is the first weekend I got to kind of rest on a Sunday.
Yep.
Usually I have to catch up on work. What about you? How was your weekend?
Yeah, a little bit of I had a birthday last week, so it was a little
Ooh,
bit, so there was a lot going on last week. So it was a little bit
happy
of a relaxing,
belated.
thank you, relaxing for me this weekend. My mom, Mama Philbrick, is coming to visit tomorrow for a week. So I know we'd be busy this week and next weekend. So I tried to relax a little bit this weekend and actually caught up. So I'm not quite doing so much work this week where I don't have time to spend time with my mom. I spent yesterday watching movies that need to be watched and writing things that need to be written to kind of get ahead of the week, as it were.
Yes, a lot of work on the weekend so you can play during the week.
Yeah, right.
Yes. Are you taking her to another concert?
No
No
concert
this time.
this
Okay.
time. Although, very sad news I have to announce on Friday, and it surprised deadheads around the world. The Dead & Company, the current Grateful Dead band that I love, with the remaining members of the Grateful Dead and John Mayer, are going to go on their final tour this summer, 2023. They're breaking up the band.
Oh no!
Yeah, which is a little heartbreaking,
Oh.
but also, I'll have some time back in the following summers, and I'm sure the band, Bobby and members of the band will continue, to tour on their own and their own solo projects and stuff like that. So I'm sure that I will go to more than just the LA show this coming summer, and probably end up going home if they're playing at Fenway. Go to the Fenway show, and I'll take mom to her final Dead show. Then I've taken her a couple. I've taken her a Dead show and a Fish show.
That's cool.
And I don't even
it's not cool that they're breaking up the band. It's cool that you have
right.
somebody to share it with, and I think it makes
Yeah.
sense for you to travel to, if this is like the last one of the band members together. Like, yeah, why not go see them as much as you can?
Yeah, I may even go to San Francisco as well. Those are kind of the three Mountain Shore. What is it called? Mountain Shore? Something.
I think so. Yeah.
Up there in San Francisco and Cupertino.
Yes.
Yes.
There you go. Well, enjoy so much.
Thank
Report
you.
back when, well, I mean, it'll be next year, but I will definitely talk to you about it when that happens.
Yes.
Yeah, so on today's show, we are talking all the things we've got. Hey, a brand new teaser trailer out for The Last of Us that popped up just before the show started, which is why we started a little bit late. We have Black Panther Wakanda Forever dominating the magazine cover for Empire. We have Illumination Animation adding a division to their department. We'll talk a little bit about that. And of course, over the weekend on Saturday was Netflix's, I think it was like the second or third TUDUM event. So we're going to do a little quick recap of that towards the end of the show, but we can't have a proper pop council without a third member, so let's go ahead and bring on today's guest, and that will be Michael Lee. Hey, Michael.
Hello. Hi.
Welcome to the show. How was your weekend? Did your favorite band break up?
No, I was busy getting ready for a trip. I want to keep it on the DL, but I have to go to Florida next week. But yeah, I'm just gonna
be
keep it
careful. The hurricane. I mean,
yes,
I think it's
that's
hitting
this week.
landfall. Yes.
Yeah, I heard it was this week. It's gonna last until Thursday based on like the forecast that I saw yesterday. But yeah, it's happening next Saturday. So
okay, you should be in the clear.
I'm keeping careful watch for sure though. Yeah.
And it also depends on which part of Florida you're going to. That
Going
may
to
not
Orlando.
Oh, I think it's.
I see I'm narrowing it down now.
I think it's. Well, Orlando is such a central, like a destination for. I'm saying there's a lot of things aside from Disney World that is there. So Universal Studios is there as well. But enjoy, have fun. I think it'll be fine. Florida,
I think it'll be fine. Yeah.
Florida, especially Orlando. Like I'm from Florida, very well equipped when it comes to hurricanes. I've been through many, so. But yeah, just keep an eye on the forecast and have safe travel. We can't wait to hear when you're allowed to talk about it. If you want to, let us know. But hey, let's go ahead and jump into that first topic, which is for The Last of Us. So this is obviously a very popular video game. I actually recently just got my hands on a PS5 PS5. We skipped the PS4 completely because what was the point of buying a PS4 when we knew the PS5 was going to be coming out, right? So we've stuck with our PS3, which we still technically have. We didn't throw it away or anything like that. But we waited for a long time to be able to get our hands finally on a PS5. So we finally have one, which means I can finally play The Last of Us. But a trailer just came out because they are making the game into live action. So we all took about the minute and a half, minute 50 that it took to see this very first teaser trailer. And going over to Jami, what were your initial thoughts on this teaser trailer for The Last of Us?
Yeah, I mean, the teaser trailer looks really cool. You know, my biggest fear with this, like, I've never played the video game, but I'm, you know, aware of the video game. I was aware of it when it came out, sort of tracking it. And what's interesting to me is, like, the video game always seemed like sort of, you know, a new version of Walking Dead, or a new version of, you know, the video game version of Quiet Place, right?
Right.
Which obviously that's a genre that people love, you know, and so it made sense. But then adapting that into a film or television project, my concern is the similarities. I mean, even looking at the trailer, if you told me this is a trailer for the next Quiet Place movie and Pedro joined the cast, I wouldn't tell you that that's wrong. You know what I mean? Because it looks like it could be another, you know, the next season of Walking Dead or the next Quiet Place franchise film. So I think that's the biggest problem that the show is going to probably have, is sort of setting itself apart from other projects we've seen with similar genre. But that being said, obviously there's a lot of material, source material from the video game to adapt. Pedro Pascal is an amazing actor, so I'm really looking forward to seeing, you know, his character arc and how that kind of goes throughout the series, and just what direction the series is going to go in. And for, you know, people who've watched Walking Dead and maybe taken some notes about what to do and what not to do, I hope that that is also, you know, I'd like to know that they have a plan, a beginning and a middle and an end for the series, and it is not just going to sort of, I think the way Walking Dead has kind of dragged on, and characters who were supposed to just be sort of, you know, villains that come in and come out have become the leads of the series, you know, obviously because the actor is so good, and, you know, the switching things up. And so I hope they stay true to whatever they stay true to whatever they're planning, and I hope that they have a plan. I'll leave it with that.
Nice. I feel like as we were watching it together, you know, because we were kind of sitting in the waiting room on stage here for the stream, and I would occasionally glance over at the two of you, you know, to see like kind of each other's reactions to it. Michael, I don't believe you played the game either.
I have not played the game.
So what were your feelings when you saw the trailer, or the teaser trailer, should I say?
I share similar sentiments with Jami over here, because it gives that sort of bleak dystopian post-apocalyptic world, especially with that song. I was researching the song too, Hank Williams' Alone and Forsaken. It's like, okay, this really feels like another Walking Dead. The aesthetics, the look and feel of the environments and the set pieces. I just feel like this is going to be a more heightened version of that, of the Walking Dead experience, because it's on HBO, so there's going to be a lot of more blood and more visceral like visual imagery. But looking at the game, I'm wondering how it will handle switching the perspectives of the characters, because based on what I've read so far, you know, you control two characters. One is, I think, named Joel, I think Pedro Pascal's character, basically, who's escorting.
Joel, yes.
Yeah, Joel. So Joel, he's escorting the girl Ellie. So, and you get to play both characters, and both have their, you know, strengths and weaknesses. So I'm going to be wondering how they handle that, and also try to distance itself and distinguish itself from being, you know, its own thing, rather than just like a knockoff with a few twists of on The Walking Dead. So yeah.
I understand the worry about it's going to feel too similar to The Walking Dead, because it's kind of both, you know, based in there is an infection, the outbreak, and this and that. But what I can understand from the game is that it is what kind of started out for Joel, at least in the game. I don't know if they changed this for the show, but at least for the game, he was basically hired to smuggle Ellie out of the quarantine zone. And it was just supposed to be one of those jobs where it's almost like, it's funny that they have Pedro Pascal in this. I mean, he's great, so why wouldn't you want to cast him? But it's reminding me of like the Mandalorian, like, be a bounty hunter. Like, I'm not saying that Joe is a bounty hunter, but the fact that he is also, it started off as a job to smuggle Ellie out, same thing to find the child, and then the two of them, his respective partner throughout this journey, there's that bond, and that's where I think it's going to set the difference between this and The Walking Dead, because it's about the two of them, and it's about this heartbreaking journey between the two of them trying to survive and get to their destination. So I love the both of their acting. I mean, we all know Pedro Pascal, he crushes it, all the things he does. Bella Ramsey, if you haven't watched her in Game of Thrones, you should. She was so much younger then, but she's a powerhouse. And I'm excited to see her in this as well, because I really haven't seen her in many other projects aside from Game of Thrones. And also the voice of Ellie, the voiceover actor for the video game, Ashley Johnson, is also supposed to be in the series. I don't know what role, how big it is, if it's just a cameo as an Easter egg for the video game fans, but I watch her on Critical Role and I love her, so I can't wait to see Ashley Johnson in this. You guys, let us know your thoughts if you're watching. If you've seen the teaser trailer, comment below this video. Let us know your thoughts if you played the game and whatnot. I can't wait to dive into it. This is going to be a daytime play. I can't play games like this at night.
Right.
Then I start hearing things. Yeah, then it's bad.
I'm looking over your shoulder and everything like that.
What is that? I take my dog and I'm like, do you sense it? You're supposed to sense this. She's like, put me down. All right, we're going to go ahead and move on to the next topic here. And we're excited to talk about this because the film is coming out towards the end of the year. And we're talking about Wakanda Forever. And they're on the cover of Empire magazine, which means we get more of a detailed look at all three characters, including Namor, who we've seen obviously in passing in the trailers and in this one because it's a magazine spread. So we get a little bit more. How did you guys get a chance to take a look at the magazine spread? And Jami, what did you think?
Yeah, I mean, it's, this happens with all these movies. We're talking about them for years as they go into production and, pre-production and then production and then post-production. And then, we get to see, the first trailer and stuff at Comic-Con and D23 and so I mean, and I know I've said this on the show before, but it's like I'm just ready to see the movie.
Yes.
I'm ready to see it. I'm done talking about it. We've seen okay, Namor's in it now. We know, great. We've seen clips, we've seen where it's going. So I'm just excited to see it. But obviously, as any sort of rollout, the Empire spread is always great. Great to see them on the cover. I like what they're doing with Namor a lot. And I can see in some of the clips, like the color scheme, while the costume's not exactly like the comics, the color scheme is there. Like, you know what I mean? There's nods to it, and then yet sort of embracing a more realistic kind of look. So I'm really excited to see what kind of role Namor has in the film. One might guess it starts off adversarial, but perhaps not so adversarial by the end. So it'll be interesting to see how that goes. And then obviously, the big mega question is, who is the Black Panther and how long do we have to wait through the movie to see who's the Black Panther?
Oh, true.
And will the first person who is the Black Panther continue to be the Black Panther, or is there a new Black Panther by the end of the movie? I mean, they could switch out, you know what I mean? They could do that too.
Yeah, they sure can.
So it'll be, and they're clearly playing it very close to the vest, who the new Black Panther will be. So, and frankly, after that trailer, I'm looking forward to Angela Bassett's performance.
Absolutely.
I want to see what she brings to this. So, it's a really interesting thing. Obviously, it's a sequel to a film where we don't have the lead, really the thing that made the last film what it was.
Yeah.
And so everyone's kind of got to step up, and it's going to be interesting to see how they're able to bring it all together. And I mean, I'm not doubting that they will, especially after that Comic-Con trailer. I'm not doubting that they will. But it's going to be interesting to see how it comes together, I think is what I'm saying.
Great thoughts. I agree with that. And I think a lot of us are going to, we already know, we've seen it in the trailers. Like Angela Bassett's line was the one that made me cry. So I feel like a lot of us will have to, be prepared to shed some tears in this film. Michael, you got a chance to take a look at the Empire cover as well. What did you think of it? And who, in your opinion, do you think we'll see as, because like Jami asked some really great questions, who do you think could be our Black Panther, and how long do you think the movie will take to establish that?
Who do I really don't know, because just the way the trailer presents itself, and not knowing, I don't really want to get anything wrong per se. I just hate being like that kind of guy, like, oh, I stick to this sort of theory and it ends up being wrong, because not that I don't like being wrong, it's just, oh my gosh, it feels like it won't live up to my expectations too, sort of thing. Hopefully it does, because we all know Shuri is capable of taking on the mantle. She clearly knows how to fight. Doesn't need any sort of that kind of training that some people want to see. I don't understand that aspect, because it doesn't make any sense.
That she has to be in training?
Yeah, that she has to train for the role. I don't particularly agree with that sentiment, because she's already has, in the bloodline, and she already knows how to fight. We already seen her fight in the first Black Panther film, in Infinity War, and a little bit in Infinity War, and a lot in Endgame. So there's that. I can't see really anyone else within it, because just based on like royalty wise, it just makes sense that Shuri is the next in line. I can't see it going to anyone else. But as far as Namor's design, I love that they gave you got to see his part of his costume, and then they gave one to his headpiece, which is really great, because you get to see the cultural specificities of Mexican inspired heroism and cultures inside of that piece going into the Marvel universe, which is pretty exciting, because we haven't seen that. So yeah.
Nice. I totally agree with you of not wanting to create on who is going to be revealed as Black Panther, because like it's fun for me. It's fun to speculate. I don't care if I'm wrong. Most of the time I'm wrong anyways, but it's fun to speculate. But what I did learn early on, this was years ago, is to not go into the movie with the false sense of like, my theory is going to be correct, because it's like your theory, of course, is going to sound good in your head, and especially on the origin and whatnot, right? But how many times have we all done this at one point with some movie, going, if they had done it exactly like this, it would have been better, when it's just like, well, that was never the intention of the writer. So I've learned to really separate from my own fan theories and headcanon to enjoying the movie of what the producers, directors, and writers let them tell that story that they were meant to tell, not the story that they literally don't know me and what I'm thinking in my head. With that said, did they release to the public the trailer that they showed at D23?
I want to say
not D23, the Comic-Con trailer.
No. Okay. So D23, there was a shot of Black Panther, but not as like the whole person, like just a part of their body. And
it was a different angle for sure.
It's a different angle, and I wasn't really sure. It's one of their appendages, and I wasn't. In the first trailer, which was the Black Panther Wakanda Forever that they released at Comic-Con.
Right.
And I was like, I don't know if it's Shuri or not. I just don't know. Like, it makes sense. 100% makes sense for her to be, Black Panther. She's the sister. But I was like, I don't know. Because when they showed that part, it just didn't look like it would be her to me. But in the D23 one, I was like, I hope maybe I'm wrong. I'm probably wrong, but it looks to be a Shuri-sized appendage.
Well, and there's also, I mean, let's remember there are a lot of different suspects here, right? For who could be the next Black Panther.
Yes.
Obviously, Shuri makes the most sense because she's the sister, and we know that that's what happened in the comic books. So, but whether they really will go that direction or if they want to sort of fake us out and then, not to get into it, there's actor issues, right? We know some actors on this film have had some issues with Disney. They may not want to hand over the Black Panther reins completely to that person because they may not trust that that person can commit to the film to be committed into the future. Now that may or may not happen. I feel like there could also, like I said, sort of be a fake out where, Lupita or Danaya becomes Black Panther at first, and then Shuri's the Black Panther by the end. Michael brought up something that I just thought about, especially with all the sort of passing of Queen Elizabeth recently. I mean, Angela's the queen.
Yes. Yes.
Very well. Now, I don't necessarily think that's going to happen, but it is maybe an option. There's also Winston Duke's character, who came very close to being Black Panther twice in the original movie. And then, I don't believe that Marvel could hide this secret. Therefore, I don't think it's happening. But there has been some talk of a Michael B. Jordan return. I don't know how that works. Resurrection of Killmonger. Like, I don't know. I've also heard
to be a variant.
There's that option. There's also, I've heard that because Chadwick can't actually be in the movie, if we need a character to speak from the astral plane to the new Black Panther, that could be Killmonger speaking through the astral plane, because obviously the actor who played T'Challa can't reappear. So there's lots of different avenues and potential candidates. Look, if at the end of the day, I think it's still going to be Shuri, but I don't think it's a lock, I guess is what I'm saying.
Yeah, we really don't know.
Lots of suspects.
Yeah, and we don't have to wait too long. I think just about 2 months, and I'm sure we'll get more TV spots. And not even
November. I think it's like November 11th or something.
That's right.
I was checking it out.
Yeah, and we're gonna get another TV spot or at least another trailer or something. And
I think
that's
we'll
when
get a final trailer.
I agree.
Yeah,
and I think for this film, you brought up Angela Bassett in this, and she's been pretty much at the forefront of all of these trailers, which I love. So I feel like this one, because who is left in Wakanda right now as far as defense goes, aside from Winston Duke's character M'Baku, it's the Dora Milaje. Right. So we're definitely going to be seeing them, I think, in the forefront, which I love so much because I'm obsessed with them. Every time I go to Disney's Avengers Campus and they come out, I'm like, oh, I gotta watch. I've watched the show 50 times, but I have to watch again.
Wasn't she already an Avenger? Because she's an Avenger during the 5-year jump. No, Danaya's character, Okoye.
Oh
yeah.
She's technically an Avenger during the 5-year missing time.
Oh, because
right?
he was
because we see her in the hologram taking orders from Black Widow, right?
Talking about
I think
quick underwater.
At the beginning of Endgame. So it almost makes a lot of sense for Okoye to take on that mantle of Black Panther, because she's already really been part of the Avengers, and
and we know she's badass. So.
Yeah. There's a lot of options.
A lot of options.
And from a business standpoint, as a studio, you want the biggest movie star to take over that role. Well, the biggest movie star in the franchise is Lupita Nyong'o.
And Angela. But Angela,
who's been missing?
I don't see her wanting to be
Lupita has
Black
an Oscar
Panther.
and Angela doesn't. I would actually put Lupita's star meter higher than Angela's. As far as a box office international name, I think Lupita is a bigger star.
I can see it.
Than
I can
else
see any of them.
Yeah.
I can really see it. So,
but Lupita's been missing.
She's the most bankable name, I think, for a studio.
In the trailers,
for sure.
Did you just solve the puzzle, Michael?
Well, I don't want to say solve the puzzle, but she's not on the Empire cover.
Right.
We haven't seen much of her in the trailer, but
or did we?
Oh, did we? Yeah. But was she in the D23 thing? I don't remember seeing her in the
I
D23.
am
A couple of shots.
trying
No,
to
there are definitely a couple
remember.
of shots because they released stills, and there I know we had stills of her.
Okay.
In the, she's definitely, but you're correct, not a lot. But there are shots of her in the
There are shots. She's in it. Yeah, for
Comic
sure.
Con
For sure.
trailer.
Mm.
Yeah,
But
for sure.
maybe,
I
like
think
you
she's
said,
on a
Jamie.
beach or something, and she's got like the blue
Yes, that was the
uniform.
first one in the first trailer. Yeah, for sure. But like you said, Jamie, I think they're keeping it close to the vest, and maybe this is one of their ways of trying to hide it, but not so subtly, I guess. But yeah,
If I were
they
a
don't
movie,
think we would notice these things.
if I were a movie studio and Chadwick passes away, I've got to hand the franchise over to another actor who's already within the franchise. It's Lupita. It's an easy, you know what I mean? Like she is the biggest name in the franchise after Chadwick. So as an actor, I would think they might go in that direction, but we'll see.
Yeah. Well, we
Mhm.
can't wait for Black Panther Wakanda Forever to hit the big screens. It's going to be, no matter what, no matter who, at least for me, no matter who it is, going to be Black Panther. I know I'm going to enjoy the hell out of that movie. So we've been waiting a long time for it. So with that, let's go ahead and move on to the other side of things, which is animation. So let's talk a little bit about Illumination. This is the home studio behind the Despicable Me movies, Secret Life of Pets, Sing, and so much more. So they've tapped Mike Moon to form a new label. The new label is called Moonlight. And the goal for this is they want to expand the range of the films that Illumination makes to go beyond family-friendly, kid-friendly. So I wonder if we're going to see a little bit more of more rated, maybe not necessarily alpha mature, but maybe, those type of animation coming out of Illumination, but under the banner of Moonlight, excuse me. So Mike Moon was the head of adult animation at Netflix. And he stepped down back in July. And now I guess we all know where he ended up. So Jami, what do you think of this? Illumination has been, for the most part, all kid-friendly, family-friendly films. Very like younger audience heavy, Despicable Me and all of that stuff. What do you think made Illumination go, we need to change some things up and expand a little bit?
Well, I think it's clearly a move towards the Pixar model, right? So, Pixar obviously started with Toy Story and these kind of kids movies, Finding Nemo, but then you get an Up, and then you get and kind of, started to mature a little bit to where, we have Lightyear, which seems like completely the opposite direction of what that material should be. But so, and then, it makes sense with Moon leaving. Netflix has done some incredible work over there with their adult animation, right? With Forrest Jackman and stuff like that. So I think it actually makes a lot of sense for, as Illumination is getting bigger and bigger and has, what now, Despicable Me is like two franchises in one, because you've got Despicable Me and the Minions, and you can kind of, rotate between both. And then, as you said, some of the Sing and some of these other stuff that they've had. And I would even argue that Sing is sort of maybe the first kind of slow move towards a little bit. I would say that that's a little bit more, while it's still kid friendly, it's a little bit more mature.
Yes.
Than say Despicable Me, certainly. So I think they're already sort of moving in that direction. It's just diversifying. It's having more ability, and obviously now that adult skewed animation, 5, 10, 15 years ago, not as big a thing. And so now that that's become such a big market, it makes a lot of sense for Illumination to grow and to, offer new opportunities for their work.
Yeah, absolutely. Michael, your thoughts on the new division, new label under Illumination?
I think it's pretty exciting because it like Jamie was saying, it's a chance for them to show how much more versatile they can be as an animation studio. We've seen how Pixar has evolved from the sort of kid-friendly thing with their storytelling, at least, and evolved into what we see in Turning Red. I mean, talking about periods and whatnot. It's pretty. What was that? Pretty mature for an animation film, especially when the characters feel look chunky and all anime inspired. It's like, that's an anime film, and then wait a minute, they're talking about something that feels real, feels very human. So as opposed to the Illumination stuff, where that's more kid friendly, pill body characters walking around. It's all weird, but it works for them.
Right.
But now what I'm wondering is how much of a shift what kind of content we will see from Moonlight, sorry. Because is it going to be like a more Rick and Morty slant, or is it going to be more like a Turning Red sort of thing, where we see human stories but for a more mature audience sort of thing? So that's what I'm interested in.
Me too. I think it's smart. It's like Jamie's and the both of you have stated, it's smart for Illuminations to expand, to broaden their market in a way. Because if you also look at, like Mike Moon's been at Netflix for a long time, and he had been animators for like 15 years. And I was just thinking about the more adult, more mature animation on Netflix. You look at Arcane, Love, Death, Robot has some animation, Castlevania, which I don't think it's like made by Netflix. I think Netflix backed it, but I don't know what animation studio that is. But they want to bring some of that flavor into Illumination so they can broaden their market, and they're not always just doing kid friendly only, which is like a very single lane. Like you can have a lot of movies, but like there's only so much there's so much audience you can absorb that kind of stuff. So I actually look forward to, because I do like the Illumination stuff. I think their stories a lot of them are a lot of fun. Sing surprised me. I liked it a lot more than I expected. Same with the Despicable Me franchise. So I am looking forward to what they're doing. I hope that we can get something like, as mature as like an Arcane or Castlevania, or Dota, things like that. I think that would be a lot of fun. So I look forward to this, and I'm very excited about it. And with that, let's go ahead and use the last bit of the show to talk about Netflix's TUDUM event. This is kind of like, I guess you can call it almost like Netflix Con a little bit.
Yes.
It's, virtual event.
N23.
What's that?
N23. We call it N23.
N23 Expo.
N23 Expo. So this is what they use to, get their audience and subscribers very excited for what is coming up. I will say, initial thoughts, I had more fun watching the first TUDUM event than this one. This one they were teasing a lot of the announcements, Squid Game, Stranger Things, things like that, which they really didn't show much footage out of, which I guess Squid Game you can't even, because it's like, what do they have to show other than like, yay, we're excited for the season 2, right? And same thing for Stranger Things. I'm sure they're trying to keep that a little bit under wraps, so the audience are surprised by when they see it. So it was a fine event. I was into all the things but I was already excited about them. I think a couple of the teasers or the clips that stood out to me were the Wednesday Adam clip with Thing, Shadow and Bone season 2, and Enola Holmes, and then Glass Onion obviously being the main one. Jamie, what about you? Did you get a chance to take a look at some of the trailers and clips that came out of TUDUM? What did you think?
Yeah, I did. I actually agree with you. I liked the first year they did this better. I think they put more effort into it, maybe. And it also, this, as well as like, remember DC Fandom. I feel like those were events that came out of the pandemic, came out of the fact that we had to stream for 2 years. And, that first year they did those events was also the Comic-Con at home year. And so it was much easier, and we were more used to, I think, just seeing, experiencing a convention in this virtual way. Right. Where now that we're back and we've been to Star Wars Celebration in person and D23 in person and Comic-Con and it just didn't seem that special. Which may have been why DC decided to cancel Fandom. Although that probably has more to do with Discovery than anything else. But we won't get into that subject. So Yeah, but from what I saw, and obviously Glass Onion we're really excited for, but it premiered TIFF. A lot of critics have already seen it. I mean, I haven't, but I know a lot of our colleagues have.
Yes.
We saw the trailer, so I don't know how much more there was to kind of get us excited about that. Seeing Enola Holmes 2, though, I really liked that movie, so it was great to get the trailer for that. And and then a lot of these other things, I mean, I don't know what we were expecting from some of the TV shows that are, shrouded in mystery and are still a ways away from like Stranger Things season 5 and stuff like that. So I think we're starting to see, I think, the end of these virtual streaming conventions, right? Like if they really wanted to do something like this, maybe in person, you know what I mean? Like a D23, but I don't think Netflix really has that kind of following to do that. Yeah.
Right.
You know what I mean? I mean, we're talking about Disney. Like
well, it's still different too, because Disney is not just like, here's what's on Disney Plus. It's like movies, animation, theme park.
Right, they have everything. Yeah. And Comic-Con has everything, and it's harder. Yeah, you're right. And I mean, that's the same would go for DC. It's harder for them to just do, DC stuff when it's when Disney
comic books and movies and animation. And and not saying that DC isn't great. It is. That's why I really like DC fandom a lot. It's still, to me, so good. It was well produced. I was thoroughly entertained. I was actually kind of bummed when they announced that it's going to be gone. I was like, I really kind of liked it.
They did it really well. And if Netflix could do something like that as well, but I don't think this was done as well. I don't think this was
just something felt like there wasn't that spark there for me. Like I was still excited. I'm still going to go see all the shows that we're going to talk about here, but
it just seemed like a dump of announcements and not like something exciting to get me to want to watch it. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Right.
Yeah. Michael, your thoughts on overall the TUDUM, the second virtual event, and which trailer or shows kind of that they showcased got you excited more?
So I watched the Extraction 2 trailer. That didn't really move the needle whatsoever. Just like, okay, he's shot, he falls over the bridge, and that's it. Somehow something spark, like you guys said about Sparks, something awakens him from his injury. Then he rises up and says, "Get ready, it's coming." Movies are like, okay, that's fine. But the Glass Onion trailer seems very intriguing. I liked how you got this, giant eclectic cast again, all having to solve this puzzle that's like on a giant game board, like 4 mini games inside one giant game. It seems like really fun and intricate, and I want to kind of solve it myself. But the fact that it teases this kind of outrageousness that we saw in the original, in the first Knives Out, by having this invitation that says, "Oh, we could use a bit of normalcy, and then let's go to a remote island." It's like, oh, that's normal. Guys, that's really weird.
Normal for those people.
Normal for those people, but yeah. So it seems very exciting. The intricacies, how it folds and how it unfolds. At least the game board they were given. I kind of want to have an invitation like that.
Right?
But anyways, yeah, I mean that seems fun. Like, all wedding invitations and birthday invitations should have required to unlock a game to solve where to go.
If you can't solve it, you can't come.
You can't come, exactly. But yeah, that seems like fun. I've heard mixed things about it, but regardless, I know I love Rian Johnson's work, from Brick to Brothers Bloom, and of course The Last Jedi. So I'm really excited about this. As for and the Enola Holmes one, that's also fun too, because I enjoyed it more than I thought I would. Especially now that we have more of a dynamic with who plays Enola Holmes again?
Oh, Millie Bobby Brown.
Yeah, Millie Bobby Brown. Yes, and then Henry Cavill. I'm interested in seeing where Sam Claflin's in all of this as well, because he was in the first one, but he seems to be missing in this trailer. But we'll see. But I like that whole dynamic they have of how their as trailer tease, how their cases are crossing over. and how they want to kind of make a name for, or how Enola wants to make a name for herself, and how Sherlock's like, on the top, I'm the top person in town. It's not very egotistical about it, but he knows who he is, sort of thing. And it's like he can't stand to cross over, but he has to rely on her help, sort of thing. So I'm really excited about that movie as well.
Yeah. The follow-up looks really good. I think that's the one that probably got the most people talking. And then just to kind of go back, because Jamie and I talked about it last week, The School for Good and Evil.
Oh my gosh, I saw that too, actually, the clip.
I was into it. It's all, I am very much the target audience. Like, I'm gonna get the book on Audible. And then they pair the trailer or the clip with Billie Eilish's song. I was like, I'm done. I'm done.
You should see me in the crowd. Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
I am all done. That, and I really like the look of Wednesday. They gave a little clip of her with Thing. So funny.
I was surprised that's a November drop. Like,
not
doesn't
in October.
It make more sense that they would drop it in October?
Certainly
as a part of their, their October Halloween slate. Yeah, that would seem like.
Yeah, I don't know why they chose November. I guess the spooky season goes on until Christmas hits.
Nowadays, I mean, as soon as September 1st hits, they start Halloween, right? I've noticed that it gets sooner. I think we were still in like a few days of late August when I started to see Halloween ads on TV. And so, I think like there is sort of a grace period until maybe the first or second week of November, and you get into Thanksgiving. But I don't know how Halloween keeps expanding, but it seems to have.
We're gonna start celebrating it in June. In a few years, trick or treating June.
I mean, I saw Halloween stuff at Michael's the other day as I was. So it's like, wow, it's
happening. Embrace it. It's here.
Yeah.
As I sit over here and sip on my homemade pumpkin spice latte. Well, you guys, that is all the discussion we have for today's show. Thank you so much for joining us. And as always, thank you to my fellow guests and co-hosts. Jamie, going to you first. Where can everybody find you and your work?
Yeah, absolutely. You can check me out Facebook at my name, Instagram, and Twitter at Philbrick, and check out Movie Phone for showtimes, listings, reviews, news, interviews, and everything else.
Excellent. Make sure you guys follow Jamie there for all of his work. And Michael, where can we find you on social media and what you're doing?
You can find me on all socials, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram at I am Michael J. Lee. I covered all interview junkets and reviews. Yeah. You can find me all those socials. So.
There you go. And for me, you can find me at my name across all social media, Wendy Lee Szany. Just take all the spaces out. You can find me on YouTube, not only here on the HCA Pop Council every Monday, but over on the Movie Couple. And there's a website now, so check out themoviecouple.com for the latest updates. And with that, thank you so much for watching, and we will see you guys next week for more. Bye.
Bye.